金色ラブリッチェ。先輩
A voice came from outside the window.
おはようございます、先輩。今日もラジオ体操の時間ですよ。
You do these every day?
やりましょうよ。体を動かすと心も燃えて一日気持ちいいですよ。
I get that, but everything up to being active's rough.
おやりなさいな。ストレッチを進めるつもりでしたが、ラジオ体操とやらもなかなかな運動効率ではありますわ。
How long have you been there?
今です。さあ、顔を洗って。
She brought over a wash basin filled with water.
先輩、メイドさんを雇ったんですか？
It's nothing like that. And heck, you are a pretty upper-class girl yourself if you weren't freaked out about the maid appearing out of thin air.
いえ、びっくりはしてますよ。それに私、お嬢様じゃありません。
Huh, really?
はい、私、至って普通の平民です。
I had found yet another non-upper-class ally.
それより先輩、私、気になることが。
What's that?
そのメイドさん、どうして鞭を持ってるんですか？
I wonder that myself.
ひどいわ、オーロ。
Sometime later at school, Sylvie began to complain.
ミナを隣の部屋に住まわせたんですって。ひどい。私だけのけ者にして。
You make it sound like I actually had a say in this. If you're going to blame someone, could you make it Elsan? I'd love to pin this on her if I could.
エル、どうして私に黙っていたの？申し訳ございません。ゲスト用ルーム、あといくつか空いているわよね。姫様、それは。分かってるわ。私まで移ったら今いる別荘が空いちゃって、この駅士の仕事に問題ありの判定が出るんでしょ？はい。分かってるわ。分かってるけど。
Sylvie puffed up her cheeks, but didn't complain any further. Being naturally considerate of her subordinates suited Sylvie perfectly.
ところで、ミナはどう？礼儀作法の先生をするそうだけれど。わかりやすいでしょ？あの子は本物のプリンセスだし、とっても優しいわ。
Haha. That whip treatment was less like a princess and more like a queen, but I decided to keep that to myself. Etiquette's complicated. I've been scolded 6 times just since I woke up.
そうね。慣れていないとね。
所作とはそういうものです。常に気を払い、常ににじみ出さねばなりません。
That's so strict.
そうね。厳しいわ。でもまあ、そこまでいかなくても、例えば日常、ピシッと背筋を伸ばしておくのは大事なことよ。気持ちも引き締まるわ。ファッションには気使った方がいいかもね。オーラちょいダサいし。
Shut up.
私としては、そうですね。以前、シルビー様とご一緒に見ていたテレビの踊ったり歌ったりしていた方々がいますよね。
The idol group?
あの方々くらいの態度を期待します。常に気持ちを張って着衣や姿勢に気を払う。笑顔までは求めませんが。
They're doing it as part of their careers. I was only human, so I wished I could slack off more than that.
そこら辺はバランスよ。私だって寝室じゃダラダラしてるわ。
私にもあります。気を抜く。
エルチンもある？いっつもピシッとしてるけど。
もちろんあります。私だってたまには。でも日本に来てからはないですね。
This woman was incredible.
他にもお茶会とかお散歩とかでも気を張り詰めることはないと思うわ。必要な時だけかっこよくいることが大事よ。
Huh. It was complicated. but showing off might be nice sometimes.
ねえ、オラ。
Yeah? She leaned in close to my ear, likely so that Elsan wouldn't hear. This was pretty late to say, but she was outrageously gorgeous, so it got my heart racing.
今夜、湖に来て。例の。ね。
ごん。少々距離をお考えください。
はーい。
何のお話です？
みなをよろしくって。
そうですか。
Elsan was so accepting that she let it pass without paying it much attention. Sylvie shot me a firm wink, and I flashed back a grin of my own. The shore of that lake. A tea party, huh?
オーロ、なんか顔赤くない？
Nah. This was messy. It was ordinary enough seeing Sylvie in class, especially with Elsan around, but going to meet her alone would be, yeah, kind of messy. Phew. I put a little space between us. Tonight, I would meet Sylvie. Well, no, it was only a tea party. That was all.
おはようございます、オーロくん。
Morning.
3連休、寮は大変だったそうですね。
More or less, I wish the nobles' cheat powers could have bailed us out and had the dorm picked up and moved somewhere else or something.
いかなる貴族も天才には無力です。
We were powerless even with royalty around. Kikuchio's arrival distracted me from everything else. I ended up talking to him in the hall a while. So I haven't done the assignment. Think it'll be okay?
今回は事情が事情なので、寮に入っている方は不問になるかと。ただオーロくんの場合、忘れるのは毎度ですからね。
I wonder if that'll be taken into consideration.
おはよう、市松くん。
Morning. Since we were in the hall, others naturally happened to pass us by.
す。
Hey! They were only passing by though, of course.
おや、
Is something up?
いえ、
どうしたの、彩香。難しい顔して。
みんなあの男に対して甘くなったと思ってね。この3日間で何があったの？寮の子が明らかに軟化したわ。
まあ一緒に危機を乗り越えるとどうしてもね。ほら、やっぱ男手ってだけで頼れるし。
それに寮だけじゃなく。
おはよう、六音寺くん。
おはようございます。六音寺くんに市松くんも。
おはようございます。
Hey!
市松もおはよう。
Hey, Saigo, would you let me copy your homework real quick?
はあ？ふざけるな。どうして俺がそんなことを。
If I copy off Kikuchio, they'll suspect me since my answers will be too perfect. I'd rather have answers like yours that are a little off.
ふざけるな。
What's the big deal? I'm sure you found that euphoric cross-dresser something or other I recommended to be really stimulating, right?
あれは、まあ、うん。
寮とは関係ない連中とまで仲良くなってる。
割とコミュ力あるよね。慣れじゃない？なんだかんだあいつが来て半月以上経つし。
そうね。もうじき1ヶ月だわ。1ヶ月もあんな庶民がこの学園に。
そうピリピリしないで。ねえ、あら。日本語でこういうのを取説無用というのよね。
Huh?
杞憂とも言うわ。これは中国の故事だったかしら。
You're well informed. Those both mean pretty different things, though. That night, I joined her tea party at the lake as I was told.
私、ちょっと心配だったの。オーロは寮や教室に馴染めていないんじゃないかって。 でもやっぱりみんなと仲良し、取説無用だったわ。
You were worried over nothing?
本当に大丈夫よね。
She must have sensed how different things were from before now that I had adjusted to school and the dorm and gazed at me worriedly. Oh boy. There's nothing to worry about.
そう、よかった。
Better just keep it this way. I wasn't sure whether she trusted me or read the mood, but Sylvie gave me a beaming smile. It was rough at the start, but it was all good now. I managed to fit in. Things were different from back then. Alright, I have a gift for you today.
お土産？あー、メロンパン。
I bought it this evening. I'm guessing you haven't tried the ones from this shop.
いただきます。わー、おいしい。
Sylvie dug in and munched down on a snack. She looked like she was enjoying it, and I was glad I bought it.
おいしい。これはどこで買ったものなの？
Shinmachi 3rd Block. They run a cream puff specialty shop over there.
新町ってすごく遠いじゃない。タクシーを使ったの？
A bike. It's not that far away. It took about an hour.
遠いわよ。私のためにそんなところまで？
I originally planned to go somewhere nearby, but lots of shops weren't open for business yet due to the heavy rain. It just somehow ended up that way.
あら。
Hmm? Her smile began to sink again. What was it? She had been enjoying the melon bread. Did I make her worry?
ねえ、オーロ。
Yeah?
私はね、心配りという言葉が日本でも最も優れた概念だと思うの。
What?
他人に対する気遣い、アテンションとかセンシティブとか近い意味はあるけど、心を配るなんて表現は他の国にはないわ。他人に対する思いやりを心を配ると表現する。つまり心、人の内面や根源が善である前提なのが日本の一番素敵なところだと思う。
Well, thank you. I felt that way whenever I saw someone freak out over being complimented and they'd claim it was more than they deserved. That line of thinking didn't click with me. It really was common sense.
でもオーロはちょっとやりすぎだと思うの。オーロは心を配りすぎよ。配りすぎていて、そのせいかしら、オーロの心がどこにあるのか見えないわ。
My heart? My heart.
まるでオーロの心は他人にしかないみたい。他人に配ったものが相対的にオーロを構成してるみたい。オーロの心が見えないの。こんなに見たいのに見えないわ。どこかに置いてきちゃったみたい。私と会う前のいつかに。
She could say that all she liked, but my heart was right here and I was acting of my own volition. Being considerate of others was normal. Using too much of your heart and losing sight of yourself? I was positive I hadn't cast my own self away.
私、オーロが大好きよ。
Yeah.
お友達になれて本当に嬉しいわ。
Yeah. You should have said the as friends part first. I thought my heart was going to explode.
でも、だからこそあなたが知りたいの。周りに配ったものじゃない。あなたの心が知りたい。わがままかしら。
Maybe so. All of this talk about my heart wasn't really hitting home. She could say that as much as she wanted, but it didn't make sense to me, nor would it help either of us.
そうね。わがままね。じゃあ、もうこの話はおしまい。もっと楽しい話をしましょう。
Yeah.
あのね、女装をした 可愛い男の子の漫画が今クラスで流行りつつあるそうなの。オーロが始めたって聞いたんだけど。
We'll talk about that some other time. Sylvie never brought back up the earlier topic of discussion. And as we had our makeshift tea party and chatted, the day came to an end. As for me, while Sylvie was happily chatting away, I occasionally caught a glimpse of the golden ring on her ring finger, and every time I remembered what she said to me. She couldn't see my heart, huh? I agreed. I always went with the flow and left everything to come naturally. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. If anything, it helped me adapt to my surroundings when the dorm was isolated by the heavy rain, and I could react accordingly. But when I wasn't adapting to others, who was I?
Loveriche.
Ha.
背筋が曲がってますわ。
Right, right.
どうかなさいまして？ラジオ体操では目が覚めなかったのかしら。
No, they woke me up.
先輩、今日もお疲れ様でした。遅刻しないようにね。
Okay. I closed the window. I guess radio calisthenics are part of my daily routine now.
健康的で良いことですわ。
Waking up at 6 a.m. was rough.
それより、どうしたんですの？暗い顔して。夕べはこそこそ抜け出してましたわよね。お姉様とお茶会だったようですが。
She'd figured me out by the sound of it.
今度は私も誘ってくださいましね。私も久しぶりにお姉様とゆっくりお話ししたいですわ。
Right, right. Do I really look that gloomy to you?
してますわね。
Huh. I thought I'd had a good time with Sylvie during our tea party, but I was apparently down in the dumps.
何かありまして？投稿の準備がてらなら聞いて差し上げますけど。
Yeah, why not? I told her exactly what Sylvie said to me yesterday. Mina-chan quietly listened
あ
and acted as though she'd figured something out.
あ、それはまあ、あなたは気にしなくてもよろしくてよ。
Huh? Why?
お姉様が神経過敏なだけです。私も覚えがありますけど。王族の、そうですわね。職業病のようなものですわ。
A royal occupational hazard? The pretty impressive phrase had just reared its head.
私たち王族は生まれながら、あなたのような人種に多く囲まれて育ちますわ。すなわち、周囲に紛れ、溶け込み、その場その場で最も適切な行動をとるよう教育された人種に。
It wasn't like I had been trained to do this or anything. Perhaps it was just one of my innate characteristics.
当然といえば当然ですわ。王族に直接仕えるものならば、適切な判断力は不可欠。相手に失礼なきようあることが最低限度の素養ですもの。でもね、こうした人種はなんだか味気ないのです。機械でも相手してるみたいで、こちらが入力しないと動かない。周りが何かしないと動かない。一人で動いてるのが不気味な機械みたいで。
Am I dreary?
お気になさらないで。悪いことではありませんわ。機械というのは言い方が悪かったですわね。良いことですのよ。機械は常に人に優しく、自らは人を傷つけませんわ。お姉様もそこは分かってるから普通なら何も言いません。けどあなた初めて会った時、お姉様をさらって逃げたんでしたっけ？
That was a misunderstanding.
誤解でも何でもそれがあなたの第一印象。そんなあなたが急に機械のようになるからお姉様も戸惑っているんでしょう。困りましたわね。お姉様ったらあなたに夢中みたい。
A machine, huh? I guess it wasn't a bad thing if it meant I was nice to others. But...
おはよう、オーラ。
Morning. Sylvie was the same as ever. The day started like any other.
オーラまだ決めてないの？
Do I absolutely have to pick something?
そろそろどんな道に進むか決めても良いのでは？
I still hadn't chosen which expert class I would take in the afternoon. The easiest option was seemingly whatever fit with my future dreams, but my dream was to be a stable civil servant, and nothing quite fit that criteria. If you told me to do whatever I wanted just to get the most out of my current situation, then there really wasn't anything I'd choose. It was a pretty big conundrum. I'd spontaneously wanted to express who I was, but didn't know what that was. Reina, are you still doing the clothing stuff?
当たり前じゃん。ファッションの道は一日にしてならず。
I ended up going along with Reina for whatever reason for today. What do you need to study so much to do fashion?
そりゃ歴史なり色彩なり裁縫の組み合わせなり。
Sounds finicky. You sure are incredible, albeit carefree.
かな。
Reina didn't look like she really knew either way. Incredible might not be the right word, but that was how I felt at the moment. I guess you could say she was anything but passive. She was making strides in accomplishing her goals. How to put it? That was so human.
まあいいや。それよりオーラ、今日って何の日か知ってる？
Hmm?
今日実装研究の日だよ。
Implementing what? How do you study that?
実際にデザインした服を着せるってことんで、新入りはモデルになって服を着てポージング用の教材になるのが伝統。いやー、最近男子来ないから助かるわ。
I'm leaving.
させるか。捕まえろ。えいっしゃー。血のりを得たぞ。
Gah!
お疲れさん。いい写真いっぱい撮れました。
I'm never going to play violent porn games again. I never knew how rough it was to be violated like this.
3つ目のやつはもうほとんど透けてたね。ノリでやったけど男子の裸見ちゃった。
Is wearing a transparent raincoat when you're naked really fashion? You could even see my nipples.
何年か前にアイドルがガチで着てたらしいよ。80年代90年代のアイドルの奇抜なファッションが形を変えていきなり来る時ってあるからね。
When that time comes, I hope women will take advantage of the see-through stuff. Through one event or another, I spent an enriching time that afternoon.
お、あかねちんだ。
Hmm? She must have been in the middle of track club practice and was having a serious-looking conversation with what appeared to be her coach.
いいね。スポーツに青春を燃やす陸上少女って感じ？
Oh right, I heard she got hurt once before.
ああ、オーロ聞いたんだ。あかねちんが学園入ってきてすぐだったかな。あの時は見てて痛々しかったな。
Your meniscus would take a while to heal.
そうそう、それそれ、半月板。オーロ詳しいじゃん。さすが元保守。
More or less. I decided not to pry any further.
でももう大丈夫みたいだね。ほらほら、今から走るみたい。
After a fluid start from a crouching position, she raced across the track.
うわー、はい。
Her personal best is a little over 11 seconds.
11秒？ちょっぱよじゃん。
A speed demon for sure, yeah. Akane-chan also had something she could put her heart and soul into. I headed back to the dorm for the day.
市松殿、
Yes?
今日この後フェンシング部に来ていただけませんか？
フェンシング部、エルが今日出るとは聞いてるけど、オーロも行くの？
はい、頼まれてしまって。それで神成様は本日バレエの方に顔を出すのだそうで、市松殿の相手ができないから見てやってほしいとのこと。市松殿もバレエよりはフェンシングの方が良いでしょう。
Well, more than ballet anyway. You couldn't do basic stretches in ballet without a firm grasp of the fundamentals, but I could handle something like fencing.
あの男のことですから、私が見張っていないとゲヘゲヘよだれを垂らしながらだらけるに決まってますわ。
Hey Sylvie, don't you think your sister's making fun of me a little?
大丈夫よ。ミナもオーロが大好きだから。
Oh man. I ended up taking part in fencing.
頑張れエルー。
はい。
Sylvie came today too.
カバレロ様だけでなく、クルスクラウン様までおいでになるなんて。どうしましょう、醜態を晒したら緊張してしまいます。頑張れカバレロ様。シルビ様、こっち向いて。
Super popular as ever, huh?
エルはね、昔から女の子にモテるのよ。
It wasn't at all surprising that Sylvie was just as popular with the girls herself, though. Elson was especially spirited today, perhaps because Sylvie was watching. She was having actual sparring matches while the amateurs, namely Sylvie and I, were practicing the basics off to the side. Elson steady cut, or rather thrust, her opponents away all the while. Elson's in a league of her own, huh?
日本じゃフェンシングはマイナーなのでしょ。仕方ないわ。エルは3歳の頃から真剣で稽古を受けているもの。
Wow. A natural knight, wasn't she?
もっと打ち込んでもいいのに。エルもオーラみたいね。いつでも周りに私にばかり合わせて。
Huh?
ああ、なんでもない。ねえ、オーラ。
Yeah?
私、オーラと同じくらいエルが好きよ。
Right. Maybe it was due to having foreign sensibilities, but Sylvie threw out the word love way too rashly in my opinion. And hey, just as much, love Elsan more. You've known her far longer than me.
それもそうね。言い換えるわ。男性のお友達ではオーラが一番好きで、女の子の中ではエルが一番大好きよ。
遅くまでお疲れ様でした。
Don't mention it. I stuck to practicing the fundamentals the whole time, but it had made for good exercise. I don't know much of anything about fencing, but it sure is entertaining. Speaking as a man, wielding a sword was already fun enough on its own. The choreographed forms, or kata, were more accessible than kendo too. I was sure it would have its share of rough patches if I were to start practicing it for real, but it might be nice for some light exercise.
気に入ったようでしたらいつでも部へどうぞ。私は毎回いるわけではありませんが。
Yeah. It might be nice to come visit when El-san was around.
でも動作自体は楽なのに意外と汗をかくのよね。
普段使わない筋肉を使いますからね。
エル、ちょっと汗臭いわ。
シルビー様。そちらも少々ですよ。
もうこら、お姫様に何を言うの？
先にやったのはそちらです。
These two were being awfully cozy. Now I understood why some people loved girls' love stories.
エル、
はい。
もっと打ち込んでもいいのよ、フェンシング。私の護衛は他にもたくさんいるんだから。
いえ、私は今くらいで十分です。
そう。
Sylvie looked disappointed as Elsan shook her head with her usual stiff expression. I had no idea what sentiments were formed between these two, but... Seeing the exact same look on Sylvie's face as back then left me startled. Just then, the limousine arrived.
じゃあ、オーラ、また明日。
今日は遅くまでご苦労様でした。
Sure. I saw the two of them off. Now then, guess I'd better head home too. However... Yo!
あ、
Get a nice view today?
さてね。そういや最近来ないな、お前。
I've been busy.
いいことだ。もっと忙しく働け。
She was indirectly telling me to go away. That hurt. Well, I don't want to intrude on your spot. I may go ahead and visit if I feel like a treat, though. She wouldn't call it good or bad. Very like her. We ended up walking home together. Hey, Eria.
Huh?
Is there anything you're putting your all into right now?
面白いアプリある的な？
No, something serious.
じゃあ知るか。めんどくせえこと聞くな。
She wouldn't give it any thought for me. Reina had fashion, Akane-chan had track, and El-san did technically have fencing. As for Sylvie, being at the academy at all made for a valuable studying abroad experience. I didn't have any objectives like that. Maybe it was because of what Sylvie told me yesterday. I felt a little unsettled.
なるほどね。
Ria shrugged her shoulders. Then, with a tiny grin,
お前さ、ノーブル学園の骨子って知ってる？
Huh?
この学園の設立理由。入学の時もらうパンフにあっただろ？
Yeah. I had read it, for the record. Pressure-free education, was it? To produce experts in every field.
まあ今となっちゃ脱ゆとりだなんだ。国にはしごを外されたとこだけど。
Which was why they had switched to their tagline from expert planning to elite rearing.
でも俺はこの学園の方針好きだわ。エキスパートのための教育。一つ決めたことだけに時間をぶっ込む方針。だからここに通ってる。
It is? That was a little unexpected. Anyone who kept getting suspended so much would ordinarily drop out of school, at least if you were aiming to be an expert in all fields. But she had stuck around and showed no signs of giving up. We were a lot alike in that regard. She tried to maintain her enrollment for as long as possible because she wanted the pretext of being a Noble Academy graduate. Or so I thought when...
バカにすんなよてめえ。俺にだって一応胸張ってやってることはあんだよ。
What? She smoked her cigarette without responding. No intention of answering her. Still, it didn't sound like she was lying about giving something all she had. Unlike me.
ただ俺がこの方針を気に入ってるってだけで、こいつが無条件にいいものだとは思わないぜ。脱ゆとりってのも一理あると思うよ。正しいのは今後の歴史が決めるんだろうけど。中庸、エキスパートでなくアベレージな人間ってやつの方が、人としてずっとまともだと思う。
How do you mean?
例えばだな。
Ria shrugged her shoulders and acted like this was a huge pain. However, she was more accommodating than she looked and...
ほら、
どっかの国でスポーツのエキスパートを育てるって国策取ってる国があんだろ？
Yeah, there are countries that raise kids from a young age so they can be experts in one particular sport. Socialist countries, I think. I'd heard they made everyone do so as a matter of national policy, since sports were a simple way of bolstering their national prestige.
でもこれってすげえ問題多いのは知ってるだろ？小さい頃から一つだけやらせるってことは、才能に恵まれなきゃ基礎的な教養もない人間しか残らない。
Ah, yeah. The Russian circus sometimes visited Japan. It apparently originated during the Soviet Union era when the gymnast cultivating system was in place and those involved failed to become Olympic representatives. I'd also heard that a staggering number of Japanese students who focused solely on sports during their academic careers often resorted to crime when they couldn't go pro. Come to think of it, I thought I had heard one of the reasons for halting pressure-free education was to curb students from turning into delinquents.
そうならないためにも、エキスパートなんて目指してないで、重要な人間になるのは正しいと思う。お前みたいな。
Is that a compliment?
褒めてない。ただお前の人生も正しいとは思ってる。俺は、今お前が気にかけてる奴らとは違うってだけでな。人生は限られてる。時間は限られてる。だったら、このゴールデンタイムは、自分のために大事なことだけに突っ切るのがいいと思ってる。今を突っ切らなくて、いつを突っ切るんだって思ってる。俺は、な。
Which route is better then?
知らねえよ。バランスだ、バランス。
She sidestepped the question like some health program at the end.
バランスだよな。
Huh? Ria giggled to herself as if she realized something after her comment.
俺はバランス取れない人間だし、そんな時間もないから好きなことだけやる。お前はバランス取れる方を目指しゃいいんじゃね？
Get involved in something while sticking to the middle ground. Are you telling me to find my golden time?
ああ。
Don't make it sound so easy.
ひとまずシルビーに告白したら？お前あいつが初恋なんだろ？
Huh? No, no. I'm her first love. She loves me.
ああ、そうだっけ。
She put her finished cigarette into the ashtray and looked like she couldn't care less.
あいつの初恋の人の条件にお前が当てはまるのは分かった。でもお前の気持ちは聞いてねえな。
Arg.
好きだったんだろ？
This woman was blunt, but it's not like I love her or anything. It's just, come on, you get it, don't you? She's so adorable, and she's a princess. I mean, yeah, I did admire her. The same goes for any other man, and I'm sure they would have felt something for her too. She cackled even louder than she had earlier. Frustrating. I wasn't lying. I hadn't fallen for her enough to call her a first love. It had been minor enough that I hadn't even remembered her for a while after meeting her. It was just... Once I learned that I was her first love, it had made me oddly self-conscious.
あとは自分で判断しろ。じゃあな。
Ria said her piece, then left. Figures she'd stir up a person's heart as much as she liked.
もうちょっと焚きつけた方がいいかな。なんだよ、いい気分の時に。はい、もしもし。何、名取さん。は？ VTR 出演？